This meeting and all other meetings of this committee are open to the public. Proper notice has been posted and given to the press in accordance with Wisconsin statutes. The citizenry may be aware of the time, place, and agenda of this meeting. Roll call.
Gage.
Here.
Gunderson. Here. Nadowski. Here.
Approved minutes of the February 13th, 2017.
Motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. There's no motion. Citizen appearance, there is none. Engineer report.
Item A is the update on the wastewater treatment plant construction. Patrick, I assume that they have these letters? This letter from,
These ones we did not put it, we just did the city hall ones and,
okay.
the letters there, but if you wanna briefly just run down.
We did submit the issue with the blower that it is leaking the seal on the air, the blowers at the treatment plant. We had a proposal from Myron to come in and replace the, remove and replace the shaft seals at no additional cost to the city. You know, we talked to them about it. You know, they said that the minimum speed that it can run is what's proposed, and it's not an issue. The units will not leak. So we put back a couple conditions to them, saying one is that they'll provide a 42-month extended warranty on both of the blowers, effective January 1st of this year, at no additional cost to the city. And then the city will be responsible to comply with the requirements of the warranty package, which is all the maintenance. And you gotta keep records, you gotta keep logs, you gotta buy their oil, their belts, and all that stuff. Then another condition we had in there was in the event of any future leaks on either unit, we told them both units would be pulled and gone. We want new units. If that happens within the extended warranty period at no cost to the city. And then the third item was that they were gonna credit $3,078 in lieu of providing spare parts certificates for the contract documents. So they were gonna give you that credit back, and then when you go to buy the parts from them, you have to buy them from them, which will equal up somewhere around $3,000. So instead of them giving you a bunch of them and putting them on a shelf, Don will buy them as he needs them. So they gave us credit for that. Thought we had a deal here, but we don't. The one thing they came back on is that they're not agreeing to is the if these leak again, that they're gone and we want new ones. So we're still hashing that one out. We were close, but that one condition we put in there we felt protected the city, they didn't agree with. I mean, that's been discussed all along here, but now it's in writing and didn't work, so. So we're still working on that, because that's the only item left. As soon as that's done, project closed. So that's what we did on the treatment plant. Any questions on that? Polymer feed system update. George has been over here, working, went through the system with Don and Paul. He's got the report worked on, and he should have it done in the next couple weeks. And a submittal for the April Public Works meeting. So then we can review it at that meeting, you guys see what everything's happening there. The water system, WDNR deficiency items, the water system capacity evaluation. We're working on that right now. We're modeling your water system. We have that in the computer, as well as the city's getting us some of their water use records, so we're updating that, so that's in the swing. Again, that's supposed to be completed by the July Public Works meeting, and then once that's completed, then we'll go to DNR with it. But that one's in progress now. There is some work being completed on that. Well, number one, as we discussed at the last meeting, per DNR, you're required to do a 10-year maintenance on your pumps and your wells. So we put out for bids immediately after that meeting, and we received the bids today. 2 bidders. The bid tabulations are in front of you on a sheet of paper.
Do you have hard copies, everybody there?
If there isn't one, there it is right there.
We opened, it's on paper because we opened bids at 2:30 today, so we
Yeah.
didn't actually have them until 2:30.
Yeah, so I put them together here and then gave them to Becky and she printed them for me, but here's the bids, municipal well and pump and CTW. We sent it to 5, companies that we work with. Municipal well and pump and CTW all have worked on your system over many years. Municipal well and pump does some of your routine maintenance at this point in time. So the list is here. Bid schedule for municipal well and pump, for a total, they're $220 cheaper, less than CTW Corporation. So I would, based on my bid analysis, I would recommend municipal well and pump for the project. And based on your motion and council meeting next week, I will notify them as soon as I hear to go forward, because we gave them a deadline to be done by June 1st. If they're gonna do it in the spring, if they have time. The reason is we don't want the well out of that well out of service during the warm weather when people are watering yards and using a lot more water. We wanna make sure it's back in service. So it's either that, if they can't get to it and be done by June 1st, then they have to do it after September 1st, for the same prices.
So I'll make a motion to award municipal well and pump the, well one, inspection and refurb.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay, discussion on possible action of the street sweeping quotes.
Got some quotes to review in the packet. I can tell you the good news is both companies were aware of the other company being interested in doing work in the city, and whether it's a coincidence or not. The quotes for the year came down. I think the last couple of years, we've been looking at about $8,500 if we're gonna have spring and fall. We have 2 quotes. One is at 8,000 for the year, one is 8,100. So first quote, which you have in front of you, is Precision Seal Coating, which is the company that came in the fall and did the, I guess, leaf pickup for us and everything there. They are looking here for spring sweeping lump sum, $3,905. A fall sweeping lump sum, $4,195. The total there then would be $8,100 for the year if you'd have them do spring and fall. If we would hire them for any additional work, so like if you wanted a June or a midsummer cleaning, it would be $95 an hour. And they had a good idea on what our maps were and everything, so both companies know what effort's involved. The other just side comment is, I think both companies are aware that we did a fall pickup last year, which we haven't really had for 2-3 years. So these rates might have come down a little bit, knowing that the streets are pretty clean, except for a lot of sand we ran this year. I think you probably even know more sand than normal, I think we ran.
Yep.
So $8,100, that's Precision Seal Coating. That's their quote there. The second quote is from TNC Services, who's done the spring cleanup the last couple of years. What he's looking at is a spring cleanup, $4,300, fall cleanup, $3,700. That total then gets you to $8,000 if we do the spring and the fall. He did a quote for a third rather than an hourly rate. He just said $3,700 for like a summer would come for a third one. So I think it's important that we do spring and fall. I think the last couple of years we've done the spring. In the fall, we ran into some issues where there was leaves in the ground and whether the equipment was breaking down or whatever it would be. I think we as we look at that, we look at a leaf pickup solution and don't rely on the street sweepers to pick up leaves. It's probably gonna help
Right.
long term. I don't know, however you wanna look at this, there's a spring sweeping, $39.05 from Precision, so it's cheaper in the spring, more expensive in the fall. You go TNC,
The other way around.
more expensive in the spring, cheaper in the fall. So when I say it's $100 difference, I'm looking at spring and fall combined. However you wanna do that. We budget about $9,000 to get this done, so it's well within budget either way you go.
I think Precision's is more accurate, that the fall is gonna
Right,
cost
they
you a
are.
little more than the spring.
Well, yeah, I guess the way I looked at it is, they did a outstanding job this fall
Yep.
when we had them in here, and And they
We got a lot of compliments on them.
came in on pretty
Right.
short notice, so I think we should give them another try
I think so too,
and
because.
see how they perform. I know with the other company that we used, we also had a lot of timing issues.
I agree with that.
And I know we got a lot of heck for that too.
Yes, we did.
And so I would suggest that we go with the, I'll make a motion to go with Precision.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Spring and fall?
Yep.
Spring and fall, yes,
Yeah.
to be clear. And possibly summer.
Yeah,
I think sometimes we had discussed doing it before Fourth of July or whatever, just to make sure everything was cleaned up. I don't know that we could ever get them in whenever we tried to, but we wanted to, I know.
Right.
Precision it is.
Good deal. I'm excited about those guys. They did a good job.
Yeah,
It's
you
really
did a good
nice.
job.
See if they
Okay,
can back it
discussion on
up.
possible action on the lease for the John Deere 1025R, potential purchase.
Just wanna talk a little bit about, this is that, the smaller tractor that we have, so we've been leasing that in the winter. We've talked about the fact that if we lease it, the lease has gone up a little bit, it's gone up to about $3,800, which is what we paid this year. Caroline Implement said that if we would look to buy the equipment, that they would credit us our lease payment. They have a quote here if we would be looking to buy the tractor. The quote that they put out was including the installation of a mower deck. And the mower deck, we had asked just to get an idea what that would cost, because then you could have a 4 seasons tractor, essentially, you could mow. It's a 60-inch deck, which is just as big as the largest, actually it's bigger than one of the mowers that we have. We have that cab that comes with it, we own. There's an option to put a hard body cab on it, but for purposes of, taking a look at, should we lease this long-term or should we buy it? 3 winters now, we've leased it at $3,500 to $3,600, so you're getting to a point where it's a good deal because you get sidewalks, we can do snow blowing and that. But at what point do we just plan on leasing it every year, or do we look into buying something? I don't know that this quote is totally finalized yet. They did put a mower deck on there. So what you see here then is a total with a mower deck and the broom and the blower, $22,150. They would credit off our $3,850. What they're saying is we would have a $18,300 bill, and there's a rental repair bill on the broom itself. We had some pins that were shearing off on it, and typically when you lease something, it's either repaired, like with the big tractor, it just gets repaired. On this end, what we found out is that Caroline's been sending the old broom along. And so when some pins had sheared on it, a lot of what was set up wrong this year was Caroline would come, set it up, get it all set for the heights and everything we need, and just go. On this end, it was set up lower than normal, so when it was running the broom, everything was working good, but we had some pin shearing. Caroline came back and said, well, we've got a bill out here because it's not under warranty, and we're kind of going back and forth with them a little bit on, is this a warranty item? And the amount on the bill is enough that it makes sense that the broom repair might be the same as what a new broom would be, so we're kind of a little bit of hemming and hawing on that end. So I don't wanna get too bogged down in that part of it, but this general idea with this tractor on whether we should just keep leasing it or if we should look at purchasing it, I think it makes sense at some point that we consider buying it. And then the other thing that we have is we have 3 large mowers.
We still have the old,
Is it the Kubota that we have?
Kubota with the front mounted deck that we've been kinda just using to hack down out of control grass.
Mhm.
But we had that tuned up last year, and that kinda went to heck
Yeah.
before the end of the season even. We're really only using it to mow, down by the river and the new property over there.
Right.
And it's, I don't even know how old it is. It was here before I got here,
Mhm.
so.
But the thought we've got there is potentially, we wouldn't if we would look to buy this, I don't know that we'd need an extra mower. We could probably shuffle an existing mower out of service, maybe sell it or whatever it might be. But, the lease here is coming up within the next month, and so at least wanted to get that discussion started with you guys, that it makes sense on some level, you know. I think we've found that we need it in the wintertime. It's working very well. Because what it ends up saving is it saves a guy having to shovel or snow blow on sidewalks, and what we talked about when we have to go out and get private sidewalks, we've been able to zip through
Right.
where we need to get it done with this tractor too. So,
I think the bridge alone pays for it,
yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, cause there's nowhere for any of that snow to go but on the sidewalk.
Cause the guy from the county keeps plowing it full, you know, and then we got plowed.
Yeah, them guys.
So I guess I'd leave it up to you guys. I think it makes sense to use it. I think it also makes sense to look at some of the other, attachments we could get. A mower deck makes sense because you could just be mowing with this thing in the summer. You know, whether we look into some more baseball field maintenance, I mean, this is a tractor that could be set up to maintain the baseball field
Pull drive.
rather than having people drive their trucks or whatever on the field, so.
Right.
But I apologize here because the price, this is the price that was sent to us, but it's kind of a, I wouldn't say, I mean, it's firm, but it's not, that's not the real number that's sitting there in front of us. So on your end, at least I wanna bring it up. We could probably hold the item, but,
I would,
just have that
I would say
discussion
there's
with you guys.
interest, cause I know the discussion the first year was let's try it out and see if it pays off, see what the benefit is. I
Right.
think it's shown its benefit, and if we, on the flip side, also have a tractor that's on its
Right.
last leg, or.
A mower or
later-
whatever,
or a
right.
mower later in its life, maybe it's time to just go ahead and pull the trigger.
As long as they're using it all the time.
I guess the only question I had is just, we got a good spot to store it. I mean, you got a spot-
This tractor sits in the garage.
Okay,
It parks in between the trucks, actually. So you got 4 trucks back here,
yeah,
and it just, we park it right in between them all.
So we'd have to, cause we're already using it all winter, so we have to store it somewhere right now.
Yeah, I just
Same with
want-
trailer,
you
we
get
must
like
have a
a-
trailer that hauls
Yeah.
it because
I know you
we
get
gotta
the,
be moving it,
you get the
right?
blower, you get the mower.
During
deck and all
winter,
that
we
stuff.
just drive it
Just
around.
drive it around. Do we have a trailer big enough?
We should, the small
probably
trailer
is big
should be
enough.
Because I think, well, with a 60-inch deck, it might be close, cause I don't think we could get
I
this.
think, didn't we, when we bought that Toro, didn't we buy the 54, 56, because that's how big a trailer we had at the time?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and just for, this was maybe was it 3 years ago we bought that? I think it was 3 or, the first year I was
Somewhere
here.
there, yeah.
So the mower deck is $2,600 or $2,650, and that last mower we bought was like a $12,000 lawnmower.
Right.
Brand new, so I mean, not that it's comparable, but, you know, we can use this thing year round and it's probably a
No,
better
you're
deal.
right. You know, I was wondering just getting it, or are we gonna drive it through the streets to
Well,
get it
actually,
from
this
park to
tractor's
park?
big enough, it's gonna cover some ground pretty fast.
This one does, yeah,
So you can drive it through the city,
yeah,
I
Yeah.
would think.
yeah.
The other ones do too, it's just a matter of getting them across the railroad tracks and
Yeah.
getting them out to.
Double A and all that stuff,
things
and
like
right?
Yeah.
that, Yeah.
You gotta look at it, probably got $10,000 worth of attachments on it too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
you know.
It's got all the bells and whistles.
Yep.
yeah.
yep.
I mean, horsepower is that one?
It's 25, I think, because
25.
it's a 1025R, so I think it's 25 horse then on it.
That sounds right.
That's how they run that with the,
Yeah, I would think.
I think the big one's a 6125, so it's 125 horse, the big tractor. So,
Alright, we're just gonna think about it, or should we just go ahead and,
Well, Patrick's gotta work on the number yet,
Right.
so should we?
yeah, I don't know, I mean, I guess it's up to you guys. I think it's okay to hold it till April yet too, but
See, otherwise
working
we
with
could-
Caroline on the price.
Otherwise, we could authorize you to potentially negotiate.
Well, I think, I would hope that if you wanted to move forward on it, we would have a price by the end of the week firmed up.
Okay.
So if you wanted to have it for next Monday night, and then we'll update you with the
Yeah.
price then, we could do that.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with
Yep.
that. Get it done.
Otherwise, it's just gonna drag out there and then we'll have to jump through hoops trying to figure it out.
Right. Yeah. But I think what I'm gonna be clear on though is with them is if all this stuff, if we're buying something essentially brand new and there's things that aren't under warranty, well, that doesn't even make sense to do that, so.
No.
That's one of the things we'd wanna
Yeah,
clear up,
Right.
and that's just a common sense thing,
I
I
don't
think.
think we're buying it new, they ought to give us some kind of warranty with it.
Yeah, right,
Right.
yep, but otherwise, I mean, it's been great, I think.
Yeah, that room is okay for itself,
Hmm.
paved the whole track.
We've done the parking lot, I mean, when there's been a bunch of sand in the parking lot and we cleaned it up for senior meals and that, they boomed off the parking lot and that, so I mean, it's good.
Bristles wear out pretty fast with that, you gotta watch
I
it
think we've
down.
been on the same broom, I mean,
Same
Oh,
room
really?
for years.
yeah, cause they keep bringing the same broom back
Yeah,
because they're not selling it, so that's part of why the warranty thing.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're tough bristles, so
Yeah.
we haven't had much wear on them.
Okay. Okay, administrator and operation supervisor report.
Are we making a motion on the tractor at all to get it to council,
yeah.
or no? I'm sorry.
I make a motion to, get the, possible tractor purchase to the, council meeting. How about
Okay.
that? That
I'll
work?
second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, thank you, sorry, Bruce. Okay,
Got her?
got it.
Administrator, operation supervisor report.
Just a quick note on my end, we're still working on the Agri-Peer negotiations. They extended over the weekend here. We've got a closed session item, and I think I've said for 2 weeks now that we're like really close. We're really close. Like tomorrow, it might even be signed, so, I will update you on closed session. The other thing I wanted to update you on is you guys had approved a water rate study from Ellers, and with that, they were gonna also get their services to go to the Public Service Commission to present a case based on their findings for a rate increase. They called me, they'd been in touch with me, and we put it off a little bit, we delayed it a little bit because Ellers was working off of estimated 2016 numbers. And there's a lag at the Public Service Commission right now where Ellers would have submitted figures and we would've been in line to get reviewed, but the lag would have gotten us through the end of 2016. Our auditors are finishing the year and then reporting actual numbers to the state, so in the event that the projections were not the same as the actual, Ellers had said, we don't wanna be in line and then get kicked all the way to the back of the line, so we held it off probably about 4 weeks, just so that we can get our final numbers figured out, get them
Okay.
sent into the state, and then Ellers will pick back up, so. Just an update on that, that it's a little bit of a delay, but it's to make sure that the numbers we're reporting in are the actual year-end numbers, so. And on my end, that's about all I have, for my report.
On my end, there isn't a whole lot to add, but, we did get the ferric system up and running, and it's doing what it's supposed to. Potentially for the city to save a lot of money with that system. It's turning itself up and down, and it's reacting to Agri-Peer's flows very well. I think it'll save us money and it'll save us headaches as far as DNR permit violations. It's gonna make it a lot easier to do that. I think that system is gonna be really good for us.
Good.
I have one more thing to add. While we're reviewing the year-end figures for water with the audit, we had audited the treatment plant for water usage. And every year, the auditors look in on our water and sewer rates, and they look at our revenue by class, so residential revenue, industrial, commercial, and then they also compare consumption. And so what they wanna know is if your revenue went up, did your consumption go up? Did your revenue come down? Did your consumption go down? And they wanna know if it's over 5%, you have to explain, this happened, the one year we had the water run, where we had frozen laterals, we told everybody to run all their water, but our revenue didn't go up, well, we had an explanation there. This year, usually, everything goes up, or down at the same, so more consumption means more revenue. And this year we had our, water for public authority, so government buildings. The usage went way down, like, by, like a huge amount. And we started looking through, cause the auditors wanna know, okay, which accounts and what all went down and up and down. And it looks like, from our preliminary review, on the, rotary press, so when we put this press in, even though we've had some issues getting it running and we've had more labor on it, it looks like something to the tune of like 6 million gallons of water were saved for the whole year. So with that, we were running it, that thing, I mean, how often you had to run water through it, you had to wash it down,
For the
it's
belt,
constantly running for the belt press.
that had, when it was running, we had 62 gallons a minute of wash water just to run it at all.
Yeah,
And then plus washing it down at the end of the day and water usage there, which is pretty much all gone.
so we went from like 7 to 8 million gallons of water just to run that thing, down to what looks like a little over 1 million for the year. So Nick will remember that way back when we made that decision, the decision was that it was gonna be running more efficiently. Well, even though we're still working out the bugs, that's quite a bit of water that I guess we're saving, and
Right.
it's a good thing. But then the other part of it is we actually charge ourselves. We don't get free water. The water department charges the sewer department for water, and that's enough that it's probably even gonna impact our rates maybe a little bit too, where it's almost like $10,000 of revenue that we're charging ourselves, but that's $9,000 less on the sewer side that we're paying, and it's $9,000 less in revenue on the water side, but interesting. It's very interesting, even though, we don't have it fully primed up and running completely, it is up and running and it's saving, that's a lot of water.
Yeah.
That's a lot of water, and that's
I
Right
guess I'm
side.
just glad we're saving the water, even if it does cost us a little.
Right,
It's
right.
good.
Yep, so that's a good thing, and I put it out there, not that it's that important, but it's interesting anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got something, Bruce, can I, for a second?
Yeah.
Don, I got something here, I gotta complain, I guess. The last two snowfalls we had were pretty minimal. And I would think that'd be the perfect time for them two guys to get out with that new truck and get some practice in.
They're not
And-
licensed, they can't drive it.
They've had 6 months to get their license, longer than 6 months. Must we go out and get somebody that's gonna do it, or, cause this running around with the tractor, when we got a truck sitting there that we bought purposely for that, and we got, what, over $50,000 stuck into it. We got a guy here that's willing to train them. I mean, there's just absolutely no excuse anymore. And now
Well,
winter's
we weren't-
almost
we
over,
weren't
I
given
guess.
6 months. When we first got the truck, we were told we didn't need CDLs. And then it turned out we did. So then it was December, and now we're left scrambling in the middle of winter to get CDLs to plow. That's what happened.
CDL should take less than 2-3 weeks to get. I mean, you go down and make the appointment, and that's pretty much it.
You go down, you go down, you take your test, and then you have to wait 2 weeks before you can take your road test.
Yeah,
And you need time. We're busy. It's not,
I guess that's just really upsetting to see that truck sit there all winter,
well,
and they won't get in it, you know?
It's not like the work's not getting done. So I don't necessarily have a particular problem. I would like to see this happen faster, and we'll get it done. But I really,
So how about changing the question a little bit, so, because I understand there's challenges and stuff like that, so then, when do you have a date that you expect to have the staff, I guess, CDL and trained up and ready to roll, so that way we can at least.
we can
Hold you to something.
we can set a date for that. There was
If you could do
never,
That would probably help, and help people understand exactly what to expect.
Okay.
Because I think that's some part of the problem, and maybe some of where the,
frustrations are, yeah.
frustration is,
Yep.
one person having one expectation, and you you having another, so by setting a date out there, a hard date of when you plan to have everybody CDL and ready to go with the truck, it would be good for us to know. That way everybody's under the same expectation or assumption of what the expectation is,
Okay.
so there's no confusion then.
We can cover that under, I actually plan to address that under the closed session, under goals too, so.
Okay.
We have a question about, med cards, Fed med cards. Cause we had, one of the guys is getting, run around about that.
Yeah.
We should talk about that in closed session though, if we could. And I gotta ask you about that, so, okay?
Any such other matters by law, authorized by law? Okay. Okay, make a motion to go into closed session to pursue to 19.851 at G Wisconsin statute, deliberation where the competition, where the bargaining reasons required a closed sessions, consider the advice of legal counsel regarding litigations and may become involved in. The reason for the closed session is review negotiations and update wastewater industrial service agreement. In closed session pursuant to 19.851C Wisconsin statute, consideration of employment, promotion, compensation, and performance of evaluations data, any city employee who is subjected to a jurisdiction or authority of the council. The reason for the closed session is to discuss city administrator goals, review, and process. If the committee adjourns the closed session, it may choose to reconvene in open session, completion of the closed session in order to take action on items from closed session pursuant to 19.852 Wisconsin statutes.
Second?
Favor?
So before we go there, we skipped over setting the April meeting.
Oh,
I'm sorry about that, but
Okay.
you can make the motion and not vote, or we could just real quick put it on the record.
yeah,
Cause I know you have a scheduling,
yeah, can we do it the
Keith?
third, if that works for everybody?
The
Third of April?
3rd of
the
April?
first Monday rather than the
First
second?
Monday.
That worked really good for me, cause the second Monday I'll be in Delta at a safety conference.
Perfect, see? That worked.
The 3rd you want
I'll
it.
have to check, I think I have a conflict, but I'll have to see what it is, but if you guys go ahead, we'll see what's on the
We can be in touch too.
Yeah, I guess if it doesn't work out with this one, at least the other ones will be in line with everything I got, so. Cause you know, it's a little short on personnel.
Okay, April 3rd.
Okay, so you do have Bruce, you made the motion to go into closed session. We do not need to read that again. We got it covered. You second?
Yep.
Motion made and seconded. We'll do roll call. Gage,
Here.
Nadowski,
Aye.
Gunderson.
Aye.
And the time is 7:05.